I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Clausen.
Here.
Commissioner Cox.
Here.
Commissioner Raven. Here. Commissioner Phipps.
Here.
Mayor Hall.
Here. Consent agenda. Items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. No separate discussion of these items will occur unless a council member requests the item to be removed from the consent agenda. If an item is removed from the consent agenda, it will be considered elsewhere on the agenda for this meeting. Prior to asking for a motion to approve the consent agenda, the mayor will ask if anyone desires to remove an item from the consent agenda for public discussion. Would anybody like to remove an item from the consent agenda? Okay, I move that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting December the 6th, 2022, the bills and payroll for the first half of December 2022, and resolution number 2022-3226, approving the continuation of a local state of emergency due to coronavirus COVID-19. Can I have a second on that motion?
Second.
And roll call.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Raven. Yes. Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. Presentations, petitions, and communications. This portion of the city council meeting is reserved for persons who desire to address the council. The Illinois Open Meetings Act mandates that the city council may not take action on comments received on matters that have not been identified on this agenda, but a council member may direct staff to address the topic or refer the matter for action on the agenda for another meeting. Persons addressing the council are requested to limit their presentation to 3 minutes and to avoid repetitious comments. We would also ask you state your name and address for the record as well as we stand when speaking. Now, we do have people online, so if you want, we need to have you come up front if you'd like to address the council. Would anybody like to come? Any items to bring forward? Anybody online would like to make any statements? Okay, so we go to the best part of the meeting coming up. Now, you remember just a minute ago when I said everybody restricted to 3 minutes? The audit report usually takes about half an hour. We'll wake everybody up when he's over, okay? So go ahead, get up here. We won't really do that to you, Larry.
Everything's good.
Okay.
See ya. Just a few highlights. If you can go on the report on highlighting. Again, in front of you, the office for the April 30, 2022. Just a reminder, these are both on a funds basis and a government-wide basis. So we kind of do two different audits in this. We have three different opinions that address that. One's a little longer than last year. It's because the accounting presentation standards changed. So we take a little longer to say that the statements in front of you are clearly presented. It's an unmodified opinion, just as it's been in the past. So no exceptions there, no modification. The other two opinions, one is what we call a yellow book audit. It's an audit in accordance with government accounting standards. It's our testing of your internal control and your grants and those kinds of things. And we noted no areas of non-compliance related to that. The third opinion is on federal awards and related to your major federal program. And again, we had no non-compliance issues there. So those are kind of the highlights of the three opinions that you had. Again, these are basically on two different ways. You are used to doing the funds basis statements whenever you do your business. And on a funds basis, the general fund had a positive fund balance last year of about $1,373,000. The non-major fund had a positive change in net position, not fund balance. The net income for the general fund, $1,373,000. That's from back on page 22. The non-major funds had a positive change in net fund balance of $624,000. We also do a financial statement in accordance with the government-wide, which is more like a business presentation, where assets are capitalized, long-term liabilities such as debt are shown, long-term liabilities such as OPEB and pension liability and IMRF are shown. It's not shown on the front. So on a government-wide basis, you had an overall net position increase of let's see, it was about $13 million last year. So a very positive net position change on that. Some of the reason for that is the positive change in your liabilities. And those fluctuate from year to year. So, for example, your police pension fund currently has a overall liability of $37 million, but it improved by about $1.5 million over the year before. The firefighter's pension currently has an overall liability of about $36 million, but it improved about $3.1 million over the year before. Your OPEB, your employee health benefits, had an overall liability of a negative $45 million, but it improved by $1.5 million over the year before. And IMRF went from a positive 116,000 overall asset last year to a positive 2,003,000. So a positive hit of 2,193,000. So those positive adjustments all came into effect, that $13 million change in net assets, and could completely fluctuate from year to year, depending on the assets you hold in the market value and the liabilities they determine that you have in the different employees. Also, taking into account on the government line that positive change in net position is capital grants. When you get a capital grant in, it's revenue. But of course, those assets you capitalize and depreciate over their lifetime. So you also received $3.6 million in capital grants last year. So all those together explain about $12 million of the $13 million impact. So you're kind of back at the same place as you're on the general, about $1 million to the good on that. So those are some of the things that affect the government-wide statements, not a whole lot of things. Those liabilities really impact the expenses that the government-wide basis shows. So that's the reason for that. Extreme positive change, and could fluctuate next year based on however the actuary determine that. So just keep that in mind. If you are looking at the financial statements, keep in mind if you try to recompute what I just told you, for example, the police pension, you have to take three numbers into consideration. It's not just the police pension liability, but it's also the deferred outflows and the deferred inflows related to that. And we're using that as an example of the police pension fund. Those are detailed out on the statement of net position, the deferred inflows and outflows. The pension fund liability is shown in note 15 under your long-term liability summary. So if you have any questions on that later, let me know.
Or you never show those numbers, that actual amount, when you combine those three numbers anywhere in the notes or anything. You've got to go through and add those and subtract them and figure out where you're really at.
That combination.
Because that's confusing.
Right.
If you really look at them, it's confusing to people.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. But unfortunately, that's the way the standards want us to present that. So, yeah, that's unfortunate. It seems like they could be summarized in one number. That would be nice. But unfortunately, they don't do that. Let's see. Another highlight, the management's discussion and analysis on page 5 through 16 is actually part of the financial statements prepared by management. And it takes the financial information in the audit and presents more informative presentation in case the public wanted to look at some of the highlights of the financial statements. Again, that has to be in there to make the statements in accordance with the presentation standards, but those pages are actually prepared by management using the audited numbers. Let's see. Just mention again, a summary of the changes in long-term liabilities are on page 60, which is your note 15. New items this year, federal funding increased to $1.8 million from $1.5 million the year before. And mainly the federal funding that we had to indicate on the schedule of expenditures of federal awards related to mostly the sewer project, which was about $1.6 million of that. Some of the loan funds that you received in the sewer project were considered federal funding to be shown on that federal funding schedule. So most of the other income was not income. Most of the other loans were state funded and loans forgiven. But $1.6 million of that sewer loan was considered federal funding to be presented on the schedule of expenditures of federal awards, making that third audit opinion necessary and very good. Let's see. COVID funding. This year you received about $1.2 million for some COVID funding, but that is actually going to be recognized next. So we We do address that there, but since you didn't spend it until FY '23, that income won't hit until FY '23. Let's see. As compared to last year's, we had some CURES funding, which we recognized for FY '21, about $660,000. So you have some COVID funding in there, but really didn't affect FY '22 at all. And again, you always have significant capital improvements during the year, so that's always something to look at. In connection with the audit, we also issue a communication letter. Those are required disclosures that we have to indicate that we documented that to the council. So if you have it in front of you, please let me know if you have any questions on those. Also in connection with the audit, we assist with the annual financial report submitted to the comptroller, assistance with TIF reporting, with the Department of Insurance reports, and I think that's about it. Trying to keep it under 3 minutes. I think I failed.
Yeah.
Then we all have great cooperation from the city staff here, and special thanks to, of course, Beth and Susan, the dean, for providing us with a whole lot of information. So, any questions on the audit report itself?
For the people in the audience, this report that we have in front of us is approximately 150 pages long.
Yes.
And these statements are as of April 30th of 2022. So these are about 8 months old. We're looking at an audit report that took time to put together. So we're really about eight months behind. A lot of things have changed in our economics and our investments and stuff like that that impact pensions, and we'll reflect those in the next audit. So I don't know if anybody else has any questions about this offhand. It takes a lot of time to get through this, needless to say. I think, what do we have, 3 CPA or 2 CPAs up here that we don't know what's going on, or at least I don't. Sandy may know everything that he just said, but we don't spend enough time to understand all this data that we got in front of us until we really dig into it.
It did help me go to sleep Monday night. So.
Well, feel free to call with any questions that you might have before you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, any questions anybody else has? All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Nice job.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Okay, next items, new business. I move to adopt special ordinance number 2022-1847, rezoning 2885 ECR 800 North, 07-1-00258-000. I got several numbers to read here. And 07-1-0021 261-000 and 071-00262-000 from RS to C4 for the construction of a retail sale of firearms and indoor firing gun range. Petitioner is Central Roofing LLC. Can I have a second to that motion?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Phipps, and a discussion. Any comments anybody wants to make?
This went to Planning Commission last Tuesday night. There was no objectors there. The owners gave a nice presentation of what the building floor plan was going to kind of look like, and a lot of good questions from the Planning Commission. They voted unanimously to pass it, so no issues.
Yeah, these properties, for the people that didn't recognize that, it's east of 43rd Street, close to 121, right along the railroad tracks. I don't know, again, a lot of people don't know where that property is exactly, but it's west of 43rd.
Used to be a Miller's Farm Service and Hydrus stockyard there or whatever.
Okay, any other questions or comments anybody has? All right, roll call.
Commissioner Cox?
Yes.
Commissioner Graven?
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps?
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
Yes.
Congratulations, guys.
You're up, Jim.
I gotta read that.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
I'll motion to adopt resolution 2022-3227, supporting the State of Illinois Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, application and commitment of city funds for the Little Wabash Drainage Project, Phase 1 piping project.
Okay, can I have a second on that motion?
A second.
Commissioner Graven, and discussion on this item.
I'll just say that we're in the middle of the grant application. Things are going well. We had a public hearing last Tuesday. this part of the Public Works Advisory Board meeting. There were no objections noted. In the division of funding here, you'll see that we are contributing 307, requesting 925,000. The amount of our contribution comes from the table in the grant application, in which if we contribute 375,000, we get 5 points, which is the highest points allowed for.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Okay. Anybody else has any more comments? All right, roll call.
Commissioner Graven.
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. I move to approve council decision request number 2022-2316, authorizing the employment of Kara Kiefer as an administrative assistant with an annual salary of $31,200 in the city clerk's office effective January 3, 2022, pending a drug screen and background check. Can I have a second on that motion?
Second. 2023.
Oh, yeah, it does say 2022, doesn't it?
Good catch. Okay. So, okay, now, anybody have any
Second.
comments?
Need to say.
What did we
I
say?
second it.
A second, okay, Commissioner Cox.
Yeah.
Now your comments.
Any comments anybody has? This is a replacement position.
Placement for Anna Miller that left. We had 2 good candidates that interviewed twice. We entered them twice. Kara just stood out, and we think she's going to do a good job.
Okay. All right. Any other comments? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Graven.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. Department reports, starting with the city administrator, community development, Kyle Gill.
I don't have a lot to report tonight. Just trying to catch up. I was sick the last half of last week, so playing a lot of catch up, returning a lot of phone calls and emails. Code enforcement, I did not get the number of permits from them today, but I know they've been busy, not with solar farms, but actually some solar panels, and people have been trying to get the solar panels put on their houses. So been a little busy with that here in the last week or so, and plumbing and heating permits. I've been doing pretty good in the last couple of weeks as well. So, and I expect that heating permits may go up in the next few days as well. So, seems like this is the time of year that furnaces and stuff start having problems. That's all I have, unless anyone has any questions.
Okay.
Kyle, we've been through this before, but I don't think we have anybody with the media on, but can we just reiterate for people, because I bet you I've been asked 5, 6, a dozen times in the last 2-3 weeks if why Mattoon's gas prices are so much higher than surrounding communities.
It's a good,
And
it's a
they
good question.
they
but it
swear
has
up and
nothing to
down.
do with the city of
They
Mattoon.
swear up and down there is a city gas tax, and I assure them there is no city gas tax.
We have no city gas tax. We have no control over what the gas stations charge here in town, and
Yeah. I just wanted to bring that up in a public forum, that there is no city gas tax, and why ours is currently that much higher than, say, Tuscola, I do not know, other than that's private market is just,
Plus
Yep.
it has to do with distance on distribution,
yeah.
how
but-
far they have to go.
Yeah, that's what they say. So,
what they say.
and I just tell people to report it to Springfield, and if you think there's price gouging or something like that, then report to Springfield and
so,
do us all a favor.
like I said, I just wanted to get that out in a public forum, that it's not a
No.
city.
Actually, is the increase in gas tax going to go back into effect in January?
I believe it is.
Yeah. That's what I thought, because those little signs. Yeah, I kind of see the signs that says, they suspended it to the end of December.
The other one, we got another one too.
In July, right?
Increases next year.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Missouri, the second highest state to California in gas taxes. Just an aside.
Yeah.
That's a gallon per, we should be able to.
yeah.
Any other questions about that?
Nope.
Okay. Okay, then we go to the city attorney, Dan Jones.
I really don't have anything. Happy to answer questions about anything, but Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody.
Okay, good deal. Any questions for the city attorney? City clerk, Susan O'Brien.
Just been processing insurance, continuing benefits, those renewals, retirements, new hires, and day-to-day office requests. And just to mention, our next council meeting will be on January 3rd, 2023. That's it.
Any questions for Susan? And I don't know, do you have anything for Beth, Sandy?
No.
Beth, right?
No,
Okay.
we've just
So our
talked about
finance director's not here, so we'll go directly to Public Works, Dean Barber.
In terms of preparation for the snow, starting on Thursday, the weather forecast is starting to shape up to where we're on the edge of the winter storm alert, which is good news.
Changed.
That
Changed.
When?
we're still on the edge, but
At 3 o'clock, when it came out, we're in the 3 to 5 range.
right, yeah, so 4 inches of snow is what I saw.
Okay.
Forecast this morning. And, you know, with more significant amounts to the north and west of us. Fortunately for us, it's going to start during the day on Thursday, which gives our guys a, great chance to, while we're here at work, arm up and get out on the road and get started. It's going to be dangerously cold in this part for people and snow removal efforts and all of those kinds of things. I guess we just urge caution on the roads.
Yep.
We'll be out there working.
Any questions for Dean Barber?
Hey, Dean, on that, do you, do you split the department in half? Somebody works at 12 and then, those others go home? Yeah, they do a heck of a good job. Absolutely.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
So, Mayor,
Yes.
go on
What's his
TV
name?
just excuse me,
What's his
that
name?
the price of salt jumped $48 a ton. Are we in good shape?
Yeah, our salt bin gets full, but yes, the price this year is $120 a ton, which is, that much more, 50% more than it was last year.
Good.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, we go to the fire chief, Jeff Helgoss.
Thank you, sir. Since our last meeting, the guys have answered 136 calls for service in the last 2 weeks. Inspectors have done 25 inspections and follow-ups. They are starting to go into the restaurants now. And that's their focus, going into those establishments. A call I would like to recognize some guys on. I'm proud of these guys most of the time.
Most of the time.
But
That's not 100%.
on Thursday, the 15th, they got a call for a water leak at GameStop. And they had water coming through the ceiling down onto the floor in their shopping area. The call was about 8 o'clock in the evening. But Ship Captain Collinsworth, Andy Cole, Bart Owen, Mike Ulicky, Jed Donaldson, and Logan Ratliff ended up all being on the call. Once they got the water shut off, they went back and got our 2 shop vacs and went and started soaking up, getting the water out of there. So they did not experience any close time because of that mess. So those guys went above and beyond, and people were still coming in trying to shop and buy games for their Christmas presents. So super proud of them for making that extra effort with them. Training, they did their ARF training and some hands-on training down at the training building. And the last couple of days, I've been preparing for this snowstorm, gathering warming shelters and emergency shelters should I-57 become impassable, and we have an influx of folks. Our guys along with Sam and Dean. I also sent it to the sheriff, Jeff at Lakeland, and Charleston and state police. All our hotels and room availabilities as of today. I think there was a total of close to 200 rooms available so hopefully we'll be able to get those people that do not decide to stay in warm place to stay should they 57 become impassable. So other than that, I would like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and your white Christmas. So that is all I've got. Unless anybody has any questions?
Anybody have any questions? I have to confess to the chief of police that last week I brought in donuts to City Hall and I gave one to our fire chief and I didn't give one to the chief of police, who those guys are noted for eating a lot of donuts. You know that. So I'll get caught up. Okay. Don't tell the guys. Nope. Okay. All right.
But like I said, I only see the fire department at the donut shop, not the police department.
Okay. Just so we know, I got publicly said that. All right. So next we go to fire chief or the police chief, Sam Gaines.
Yeah. So on that, you didn't tell the fire chief you got me a gift this year, did you?
No, I didn't tell.
Okay.
Didn't say that.
I won't tell him either. 964 calls for service in the last 2 weeks since we last met, and 41 arrests. And that's about all I've got tonight.
Okay. Be quiet when it gets as cold as it's going to get this weekend. It's going to be, I think, better for you. Typically, right?
Typically,
Yeah.
except for traffic.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Okay, Arts and Tourism, Angelia Brigette, she is not on.
She was on.
Angelia?
Online, I believe.
I'm on. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Just a few things, ending the year with over 200 listings on the weekly email blast, preparing for new things to start fresh with in January, and already have quite a list compiled. For letters of intent, I've sent out requests to our previous grantees to ask them for letters of intent, and what they do is just let us know what their events are in anticipation of the budget, what they will be asking for, so we can manage it from the tourism board side of expecting what to expect from them, and being able to talk to some new people who haven't been through the process before. So it's a good process. And then lastly, Lightworks will be finishing up Monday the 26th, and we're going to be probably landing a little bit better than our 2019 numbers. 2020 and 2021 were remarkably big for Lightworks, and we've kind of settled into some really great numbers, but not quite as big. So I'll be getting a report to you on that in January. And that's all I've got.
And Angelia, the last night for Lightworks is?
The 26th, Monday.
26th, okay. You got to the 26th to go through Lightworks.
There you go.
Yes.
All right, any other questions for Angelia? All right, now we go to the comments by the council. We'll start with Commissioner Clausen.
Okay. I'm just following up after Chief Gaines. I know my gift is somewhere up here.
Yeah.
But I want to appreciate it. Really thought that'd be better. No, I just hope everybody stays safe over the weekend. Appreciate all the responders, public works out there around the clock. So just good luck to everybody.
Right.
Get groceries, medications tomorrow. Stay home.
Right.
Yeah.
So, very good.
Thank you.
Any questions? Now we go to Commissioner Cox.
Gentlemen, Central Roofing back there, thank you so much for your belief and your work and your dedication to Mattoon. I think it's going to be a great business that you're putting in out there, and I appreciate your entrepreneurship and just your investment in the community. So best of luck to you and thank you. Appreciate that. Good.
We printed off those copies, stupid, we want to see plans or kind of what buildings are going to look like, or if anybody has questions, you guys kind of what we're going to offer and anything like that, and just let us know afterwards.
We also received our federal firearms license in the mail yesterday, so we are officially federal firearm licensed.
You need names here.
So we will.
That'd be good.
we'll stay-
Nobody knows it.
We are a federal license.
For the record, could we have both your names?
would believe so, but if not.
No, yeah.
We need.
We need your name for our records for speaking.
Yeah, yeah.
What's that? What's your name?
William Bates,
Bates?
William Bates.
And
Ryan Foltz.
Ryan Foltz.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep.
Nope, I did that last lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. Sensor from sold and done sold.
That third guy up there, right?
Third guy. They just did.
Very good.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you for being here and thank you again for the investment in our community. I wish you the best of luck. So
That's the other guy.
We got it.
We got
We got it.
Matthew Harder.
Larry, good job as always. Everything. And then just best wishes for staying safe this next few days. Keep an eye on one another. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone.
Any other questions for Commissioner Cox? We go to Commissioner Graven.
Congratulations, guys. Look forward to that out in my neck of the woods. I do ask for snow. I do not ask for the 50-mile-an-hour wind, so that's not on me. But I just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas and a safe New Year and enjoy.
Very good. Any questions for Commissioner Graven? Commissioner Phipps?
I just echo what these council members have already said. Congrats and stay safe, all the first responders and public works. And if you need any volunteer work, I will volunteer Mayor Hall to help you out. Give him a
That challenge?
Otherwise, Merry Christmas to everybody.
We don't leave plenty on the ice.
Okay. Last comments by myself, just a couple things. Number one, this is the time of year, and I'm surprised that our chief of the fire department didn't say so. This is the time of year that we replace smoke detectors, carbon monoxide protectors. So that's a good time to do that. They have 10-year alarms now. You don't have to replace the batteries. You can go get them and put them up. And in fact,
Will take effect January 1. There is the grace period. If you do have a smoke detector that is battery operated, it will, till the end of that battery life or the end of the detector's life, you can keep it. But the key is getting one that, because so many times we go in and that battery thing is popped open and the batteries are out.
Gone.
And just had a call this morning, smoke detector woke a lady up and she was able to get out. So they do save lives, so.
the information that I've read on smoke detectors and those carbon monoxides, if everybody had those, 1/3 of all the lives lost in fires would not occur if they had smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. Last thing is, we talked about public works and the snow plowing that they're going to have to do. Anybody that can prevent from parking on the main routes and park in your driveways, the snow plows have to get around the cars. Oftentimes they cover them up with snow. If those vehicles are not on the streets, it's a lot easier to keep the streets clean. So we really need to, if you can, is not to get on the main routes. That would help a lot of people, including the Public Works Department. We've got a lot of new laws to start January 1. I would argue that the biggest department that's going to be impacted is the police department. The new rules that are going to have to be followed by the police department. Number one, no one understands what they are. You get different opinions on a lot of them. So we got to work through all of that. The chief could talk about it for hours. I won't let him do that, but he's got his hands full, I will assure you, trying to protect citizens with the new laws that go into
We do
effect.
have another meeting tomorrow with the state's attorney.
Okay.
So
On the safety end.
on the bail reform is the biggest confusing part.
So the last thing I have to say is Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everybody, and now we can.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. All right. All right, roll call.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Raven. No. Mayor. Mayor Hall.
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you.
You guys have a
I'll see you tomorrow.